Thanks for joining me tonight after the holiday, and I hope you had a really good holiday. We're going to be working on our inner voice tonight, or I should say that's the healing in the sanctuary tonight, is the inner voice. And what your inner voice is your ability to hear your own higher wisdom. That ability comes from your fifth chakra, which is located in your throat. So it's also called your throat chakra. And the reason that that ability comes from your fifth chakra is because when you hear your inner voice, you're not listening to it through your ears. It's not a sound that you're going to hear from outside of yourself. Your inner voice comes from within, and you'll hear it in your telepathic channels, which run from here down to your throat. So you actually hear your inner voice in this space internally. So I'm going to be working on cleaning out your inner voice space in general, giving that a nice healing. And then I thought I'd pick some spaces that you use your inner voice in to clean out. So the first space is going to be cleaning out your inner voice in your meditation space so that you can hear that clearly in your meditations. And then the next one is in your self-affinity space, so that when you hear yourself talking to yourself, your inner voice is kind to you. So we're going to clean that out. And then I thought the third space would be cool, would be to clean out your inner voice in your money space so that you can really hear yourself telling yourself what's the truth from the lie in your money space. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and say the prayer and set the energy for the healing tonight. As we cleanse and heal the temple of the soul, may it be with the blessing of divinity, that it shine its countenance upon us and bring us peace in body, mind, and spirit. Amen. All righty. I'm going to be looking at a composite of everybody in the sanctuary, and that shows me all the matching pictures that you all have, and I'll be clearing foreign energy based on those matching pictures and talking to you as if it's one-on-one as I do the healing. All right. So the first space I'm going to do is just your general inner voice, and we'll see what comes out of there. And before I even start, I can see a lot of beings flying out of there. Little beings, little white beings. So you guys have a lot of different beings in your throats. Those are coming out. All kinds of different beings too. Ones that are nice and sweet, ones that make you crabby and cranky, ones that make you give you kind of an edge when you're talking because they're coming through your throat chakra. So I'm clearing all of those. Okay, right out of the gate, and this is important, I'm going to work with you to help clear the energy of your mother's voice and of your father's voice out of that inner voice space. That's very common to have both of or one or the other of your parents' voice either competing with your inner voice or actually being louder than it. And so I'm going to clean that space out right now. I'm working on the energy of the fathers right now, taking that out of the inner voice. And the energy of demand is coming out of the inner voice space from the fathers. And you know, that demand energy is not really conscious. It's more like the demand of wanting that child to be what they think would be the best for that child. So it's the demand energy of wanting what the parent thinks is good for you. And to those of you spirits in female bodies tonight, I went ahead and cleared a bunch of that father's energy in the lower part of the body too, not just in the telepathics and the inner voice space. Just, I was in there and I thought I might as well clear it. So that all came out. Okay, now I'm going to clear the mother's energy. The the moms are a little more embedded in your inner voice, as you can imagine, since you lived in their bodies for 9 months. So there's a lot of bonding there. So just give me a minute here. I'm going to try to clean this out. So what I'm seeing with the moms, more so than the dads, is that in order to kick the moms out of your inner voice space, I'm watching you go into your heart chakras and take a look at your healing agreements with your moms and have to change something in your heart chakra in order to get some space from them in your inner voice. Yeah, with the moms are so used to hearing your telepathic communication that it's a little bit more difficult for them to make separations from that whole space of inner voice and telepathic communication. There's a lot of a big, thick teal, green, blue coming out of the inner voice space. This is the energy of mothers, that teal color. Good. Okay. The next energy, because there's already another energy coming to the surface right after the mom's energy, and that's religious energy getting in your inner voice space. Excuse me. Along with that religious energy, I can hardly say it because what I was looking at was all the beings, again, more beings in the throat chakra. So I had my own matches lighting up. That's why I was coughing. And I'm working on that for you. Okay, as that religious energy comes out, the next thing that needs to be addressed is your communication with Supreme Being, and make sure that that's in good standing. So I'm going to be cleaning off the gold line that goes from your crown chakra up to a sun, a great big sun of gold above your head, and that sun represents Supreme Being. And it's a great simple way to clean out your communication with Supreme Being. Well, I'll tell you what I'm finding in there, because I think it's significant that you know there's a lot of hatred in your communication with Supreme Being. And I mean, if you look at our society right now and how much hatred is festering in our culture, what's happening is it's actually getting in your communication with Supreme Being. It's getting between your crown and your gold sun. So we're going to go ahead and clean that out. But like I said, it's important that you know that so that you can ground that vibration out of your aura and out of your space. It's an intense vibration, that hatred, but we want to be able to ground it so that we can find some neutrality to it. And the reason we want to find neutrality to it, let me just clarify that, is so that you can't be controlled by it. Being neutral to it doesn't mean ignoring it or avoiding it. It means that you can't be controlled by it. It's such an intense energy, and it can become so destructive. You did a good job moving it out. I'm going to go ahead and fill in your inner voice space now with gold, and go ahead and clean out the 3 separate spaces. There's a really pretty orange gold going into your inner voice space right now. Okay. Excuse me. I guess that wasn't enough. Just a second here. Okay, the first space that I thought would be important to clear is your meditation space. And the reason I thought of this was when I started my clairvoyant training at the Berkeley Psychic Institute, about a year and a half into the program, one time I was meditating and I posed a question to myself, and I heard the answer in my head, the same voice that I'd been hearing all my life. And I recognized that that voice was a male voice. And I said to myself, that's weird. Your voice isn't a male voice. And what I realized was that for the first time, I could hear that the voice that I kept asking questions and getting answers from was my father's voice, not my inner voice. And that was a huge revelation for me. So that's why I wanted to go in and help you clean off that inner voice in your meditation space, so that when you do quiet your body down and you go and listen for your voice, you'll be able to hear it. All right. There's a beautiful, I mean, stunningly beautiful blue that is your meditation space. Just a deep, rich combination of like a medium blue and a turquoise blue. Well, everybody else's demands are coming out of your meditation space so that you can hear your inner voice. Much like in the inner voice general space where I saw a lot of beings coming out of your throat, this time there's a lot of people coming out of your space. People that have lots of demands for your time, your energy, your attention, and your wisdom, which is your inner voice. Boy, the energy in your inner voice is so nice and beautiful and rich and full of wisdom. One of the energies that's affecting your inner voice is conflict. That's getting in the way of you being able to hear your inner voice. So whatever kind of conflict you've had in your life, arguments with parents, spouses, relatives, that's what's coming out. And with that conflict is a lot of judgment coming out and being released. So that's a nice release. And one of the things I'm going to do is turn down some of the other sounds that you hear in your meditation space and put your inner voice as one of the more important sounds that you hear. And then the other thing that I saw now was like how hard it is for you to meditate because of the noise of the body. So that's an energy, or it's probably made up of many energies that I'm going to help you ground, because you're telling me that it's hard to sit and try to find peace because of the noise, like I said, in your body. So let's ground that. Now, a ton of white energy is coming out of your telepathic channel, so that's good. There's different energies in that white. There's a lot of unconscious energy. And there's a lot of worry coming out of your inner voice. I've almost got the telepathic channels cleared. There's a little bit of dark energy. Most of it was white, but I just found some energy right in the center of your telepathic channels. It's a little bit older, it's a little bit firmer, and so it just needs a little bit more time. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fill in your meditation space now with peace. That was a good release. That peace is coming in as an orange gold and some blue. Okay. And then the next space is your self-affinity, how you talk to yourself. Um, I'm seeing a lot of energy that needs to be cleared, and I can't really figure out a way to articulate to you how I'm seeing it, other than it's an energy that hangs below the timeline. So if I'm looking at a timeline for everybody in the sanctuary, it's an energy that's underneath it. That's the best I can explain it to you, how I see it. So this is really gritty energy in your uh, inner voice self-affinity space that I'm working on. And it's gritty and just some dark red brown. Again, this actually is requiring more clearing in your telepathic channels. And I'll try to give you an example of like what happens is, let's say somebody says something that is a judgment to you and that energy comes in your space. Then all of a sudden you have to answer to that judgment. You're either going to agree with it, like go into agreement with it, or resist it, unless you're neutral. This is why we always try to be neutral. But what happens is then this conflict starts happening inside your space between this picture that somebody put in your space that's a judgment of you and your own inner voice that knows better, but then can be programmed to change. So a conflict starts going on inside. I'm going to be cleaning the conflict. That was a really good healing. What happened was is a lot of energy was released, and then this really beautiful, like purple, like a peacock purple, started filling in your self affinity space. Okay, that looks good. I'm just bringing that into present time. Your um, self affinity space wasn't in present time, it was in past time, worrying about other things and holding on to old judgments. So I'm bringing that into present time. Okay, let me fill that in with gold. Okay, the last space I thought would be really good for everybody, and that is to clean up the inner voice in your money space so that you can hear yourself accurately when it comes to money. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this. Tonight I'm looking at the money space as a blue, a medium blue. And when I look at the energy of the inner voice in the money space, the energy that comes up is a charcoal gray. That's where I'm going to start. And that charcoal gray is the energy, I'm going to call it lies, other people's bad information about money in your money space and in your inner voice space. That's what's coming out. And places where you've been programmed by other people in your money space to go down a path that you maybe wouldn't have gone down on your own. Um, the the residue of that needs to be cleared as well, like the energy of guilt or shame, embarrassment. So that those are coming out. And then there's a lot of competition in the inner voice space when it comes to money. And I guess that's just the second part of what I'm looking at. Other people's bad information and the competition from other people for you to believe them and what their pictures are about money. There's a lot of of anger in this space. The anger and confusion, both of those are coming out. It's a red and a white energy. Also, a little bit of the energy of helplessness, like feeling like you don't have the answers, don't know who to talk to. One of the things that I'm seeing as I work on this money space and your inner voice is how important it is for you to be in full alignment, especially in your money space, in order for you to be able to hear your inner voice accurately. So as part of the money healing, I'm going to be lining up all of your bodies and getting them into alignment. They're in pretty good shape. That emotional body is a little off. I'm grounding that. Okay. I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead and fill you in, collect up your energy. There's still a little bit of dark energy coming out of that money space. Hang on 1 minute. Oh, good. You know how I said earlier the energy of other people's bad decisions was coming out? Now the energy is of your own, perhaps not the best decisions that you've made in your money space. That's what's coming out. That was that extra brown. Okay, I'm going to start collecting up your money information, your prosperity, your abundance. And fill in your money space with all of those goodies. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in another gold sun into your inner voice space. All right. May it be with the blessing of divinity that this healing for your inner voice tonight be complete. Amen. You can open your eyes if you were in trance and come on out of trance. I have an announcement to make. I have a new series coming up that's going to start next month, and it's called Body Beautiful. And what we're going to do is each month work a topic. It's set up like a 30-minute meditation, so it's not a long class, and it's free and open to anyone. And I thought I'd start off August with a bang, with the first topic being ground your fat cells. So we're going to ground our fat cells, because I think you're going to be a little surprised when you find out what kind of energy holds fat on your body and what kind of energy is stuck in your fat. So I thought that would be a good thing for us to take a look at and get a nice healing on, and that'll be coming up in August. So I just thought I'd give you a little teaser on that. For this month coming up, we have the next thing we have coming up will be next week. Let me find it. Oh, yeah, next week, a 20-minute meditation on the center of your head. So that's going to be showing you how to get into the center of your head, and then clearing the energy once you're in the center of your head. I've got a real fun meditation for that. All right. I look forward to seeing you next Monday night. And like I said, I hope you had a really good holiday weekend. And now you have the energy set for the rest of the week. So enjoy yourself. Got my eyes on you. Have a good night. Bye-bye.